Greetings from Fortune High School. I am Deepanita Roy Chaudhary. Today we are going to discuss about some properties of light. This is relevant to the children of grade 2. A shadow is a dark shape that is formed when an object blocks the path of light. Not all objects can form shadows. The path of light is a straight line. Shadows are always formed opposite to the source of light. The closer the object is to the light, the source, the bigger the size of the shadow. The size of the shadow is also different at different times of the day. We use different objects to make different things based on whether they allow light to pass through them. Properties of light. We will learn about the source of light, natural and artificial. Discovery of fire as source of light. Luminous and non-luminous objects. The properties of light. Transparent, translucent and opaque objects. Shadow formation. Light always travels straight. Sources of light. There are two kinds of sources, one natural source and artificial source. Natural sources are the stars, the sun and firefly. Artificial sources are kerosene lamp, candle, oil lamp and electric bulb. Discovery of fire is a source of light. The luminous objects, there are two types of objects, one luminous and other is non-luminous objects. So luminous objects are the sun and the electric bulb. These objects, luminous objects are those objects which emits light, which is giving out lights. And non-luminous objects are those which cannot give you light or emit light. Light travels very fast and in a straight line. There are three types of objects depending on whether light can pass through an object. Transparent. Transparent objects like you see on a transparent umbrella. That can be also glass, like you have window panels at home. Then you have translucent. Those are plastic, transparent plastic where the light can pass through but not properly. And opaque objects are those where light cannot pass through. Shadow formation. When any object comes in front of the light, an shadow is formed on the opposite side of the light. If the light is coming from the left side, the shadow will be formed on the right side. And if the light is coming from the right side, the shadow will be formed on the other side, that is the left side. Now we are going to discuss something about the lesson. The name of the lesson is Game of Light, lesson number 10. Let us learn about shadows, shadow formation, changes in shadow formed by sunlight, uses of objects based on the amount of light passing through them. You can see a boy who is standing in front of the light and with his hand he is creating a shadow. And the shadow he can create a kind of formation. When is shadow formed? When we stand out in the sun, we can see a dark shape on the ground. It looks similar to us. It moves as we move. Do you know what it is? It is called a shadow. A shadow is formed due to sunlight. A shadow is a dark shape formed when an object blocks the path of light. See here, you can see not all objects forms shadow. See here, there's a glass, yeah? Let us see which objects form shadow and which do not. Here, the glass, we have taken an example of glass. The light passes through the glass. And there you can also find the objects that allows light to pass through them. Some objects allow light to pass through them. They do not block the light, so they do not form shadows. We can see through these objects, for example, glass and water. So these objects, when the light falls on these objects, the light can pass through them. Some objects are there, they are transparent objects are there. These objects, the light goes through these things, but they can form shadows, but they are not so sharp. They are a little bit, or the objects that allow only sunlight to pass through them, they can form which are not a proper dark shadow. Some objects do not allow light to pass through them at all. These objects form dark shadow. We cannot see through these objects at all. For example, our body does not allow light to pass through it. It forms a shadow when light falls on it. We cannot see through our bodies. Other examples are the wall of our houses, a blackboard, or so on. Objects that do not allow light to pass through them are also called opaque objects. Some objects can throw back all the light which falls on them. For example, a mirror throws back the light. A mirror throws back, see the light is coming on one side and it's throwing, you can see the light. Why you can see the light? Because it's going, you can see through the mirror, we are putting light and it's coming back it's reflecting back. That you can say the light has been reflected. So we have seen that a shadow is formed when an object blocks the path of light. Have you ever noticed the path of light? It is a straight line. Shadows are always formed opposite to the source of light. Straight path of light. If you stand outside in the sun, see when you're standing outside the sun, shadow is formed which is always behind you. The light is here, the sun you can see is coming from, this light is coming, and the shadow of the tree is on the opposite side of the light. Shadows are formed opposite to the source of light. So shadows are also a cool area. Where shadows are formed, those areas are cool. Other shadows form always of the same size as other objects? No, they appear different size. What is the reason of this? When an object is near to the light, you can see the object is close to the light, so the shadow form is a bigger size. As the object moves away from the light, source of light, the shadow becomes smaller. So, in the morning, the shadow is long. During the noon, the shadow is short, very short. And during the evening, the shadows are longer. See what happens in the sunset. Let's see here, girl is standing in front of the sun, the shadow is long. But during the afternoon, the shadow becomes very small and is underneath her. And when it is from the left side, the sun is rising from the east, the shadow will be on the west side. The opposite. When the sun is setting in the west, the shadow will be in the opposite side, that is the west side. So there are also some stories based on the shadows, the puppet shows and all. So you can see when glass, we are putting glass panels in the window so that the light can pass through because it's a transparent. So to lit up our light room, we are putting window panels made of glass. Whereas our whole house is covered with all all over with walls so that we don't want everything to be seen from outside. So wall of the house do not let us see through. And we are also using sunglasses to protect our eyes from the bright light. But when we are reading our books, we are using sunlight. Thank you, my children. Have a nice day. Bye bye.